Good morning and welcome to the show. This is In Touch, and In Touch, in case you have not tuned in before, is our weekly half-hour public affairs show, which means at the end of the program today, I am going to let you know how you could be on the show. So if you are a nonprofit group organization here in the Hudson Valley, you want to talk about what's important to you, what you are doing, what you want to do, I will have a myriad of ways for you to be able to get a hold of me. So let me turn on the microphone. First off, let me say this is pre-recorded. And Carolyn is back. I didn't scare her away before. Carolyn Torella, Regional Communications Director in the Hudson Valley American Heart Association. So hello, welcome. Nice to see you.
Thank you for having me back. Good to see you.
So
happy summer.
It is happy summer. That's what I said when I saw you in the lobby. I said happy summer. So it is appropriate. It's also great timing that you're here because a lot of times in the past, you've come on the show when we've had the Heart Walk, when we've done the Duchess Ulster Heart Walk, right? And, you know, we've talked obviously about that and about the Go Red for Women. We've talked about those things. But I love the fact that you're on at a time of the year that typically you're not. Right. Because I think people go, oh, February Heart Month. Let's all pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. And then May and June comes and we're like, what?
Right.
What?
Or Stroke Month in May, where we come on and talk about stroke too.
Right. You come in, but then it passes and we're all like, yeah.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, there's things you can do now.
That's right. That's right. That's what so that's why I thank you for having us on in the summer. But it's, you know, and summer is a great time to talk about heart health because it's a perfect time to really start, you know, considering your health and how to get active, because being active really helps you on many fronts with your health, not just cardiovascularly, but physically. You know, it can help joint pain and it can help weight loss, you know, it can help with a whole bunch of depression, you know.
I was going to say, it helps mentally. You just feel better.
Yes.
There's a point you feel better.
Right. And we, you know, we've been lucky, you know, we've had some early rains in the summer, but we've been getting like a little stretch of sunshine sometimes. And that really, you know, makes you feel better too. So you want to get outside and enjoy the outside. And the Hudson Valley is great. Obviously, there's just so many choices to take advantage of in the Hudson Valley to get active. So that, you know, and that's really kind of a pivotal thing with prevention of heart disease and stroke is physical activity. The American Heart Association recommends 30 minutes of vigorous exercise per day, most days of the week. So at least 5 days a week. And that's just to kind of get your cardiovascular system, you know, in shape. But if you're really looking at weight loss, you want to go every day, 7 days a week, and even increase that to 45 minutes to an hour if you're looking at some serious weight loss. But it's, you know, it does great things for your heart. Your heart is a muscle. It needs to be worked out just like any other muscle in your body.
Right.
It helps with your circulation, especially if you have some peripheral artery issues, to get your blood flowing and it really actually keeps your arteries kind of flexible and pliable. And it helps to prevent blood clotting and that kind of thing. Also reduces cholesterol, blood pressure, your blood sugar. So all your kind of important measures for heart disease, your risk factors, will start coming down when you start increasing your exercise. So it's you really can't lose. You know, when it comes to exercise, you feel good. You'll, you know, probably start to lose weight. You'll get stronger, which means you'll get more muscle mass, which means you'll burn more calories even at rest.
Once I get my knees fixed, I can't wait. Can I just tell you? I am so tired that my mobility has been so impaired for a while, and it's something that we talked about before. You know, I've had this all my life, and there have been times where it's given me a break. However, that hasn't been recently. So now we're starting on the first step of what we need to do, and I really am hoping, because all those things you mentioned in my head, I'm going, can't do right now, can't do right now. Been worried about that because I can't do that right now. So. You know, for those of you, let me just say, for those of you whose knees are not bone on bone at this particular point, get out there and walk. Do it for me. I'm living through you until I could get a chance.
But even if you can't, you know, exercise in the traditional sense that a lot of people do, you could certainly go out and enjoy, park yourself and meditate and kind of reduce your stress as well is important.
I've been doing that because I've been a little freak.
And you know, it's important, especially for women. They internalize their stress, and what it ends up doing is coming out in physical response, high blood pressure, you know, tension. and
migraine headache.
Yes, and headaches, and that's all. It's a lot of that stress related. So it's important for women especially, and they take on, there's actually scientific studies that say that women take on a lot of work, internalize the stress, and it comes out in really physical pain and illness and sickness, heart disease, more days out. So it's important for you to take care of yourself physically, but also mentally and emotionally, to take time for yourself and to make sure that your health is the priority in your life, because especially if, we're talking to women through our Go Red for Women campaign, that women don't put their health first and they take care of everybody else first and they make that the priority. But then their illness and sickness starts to come up to the head, and then they can't do anything for anybody. You really have to start. Right. It's like when you're on the airline and they say, in case of emergency, put your mask on first, your oxygen mask, then help your friend. Because you can't help them
if you've passed out.
If you've passed out,
you're useless.
Yes, exactly right. So it really in life as well. So physical activity really, on so many fronts, helps you. But when we're talking about weight loss, 60% of Americans are either overweight or obese. That's a incredible number, and children as well. 30% of kids are overweight or obese. And we have never seen in generations prior to this that number, especially in the kids. And their markers are going up for poor health. Blood pressure is up, cholesterol is up. Type 2 diabetes used to be an illness for adults. They used to call it adult onset diabetes. Now they call it type 2. And that's because, and kids now are getting diabetes at young ages because they're taking in too much sugar. They're not exercising. Their diet is poor. Less than 1% of American children actually have an ideal diet, as measured by a score. Less than 1%. So it's really important, yes, to get the physical activity and get that in and work out every day, especially kids. 60 minutes a day is what we recommend at the American Heart Association. So we're so happy to have programs in schools like Play 60 and through recess and playground activities. And our programs like Jump Rope for Heart and Hoops for Heart help get kids learning about their heart and why they should take care of it. But really, when we talk about health and nutrition and prevention, food, it's what's on your fork and what goes in your mouth can really go a long way to prevent heart disease and stroke. So, we were talking before, we're in the Hudson Valley. We have access to so many great farm markets and farms that we directly walk up to there. And, they've picked the corn 5 minutes ago, and we pick it up and put it in our, recyclable bag, hopefully. We take it home and we cook it and we have corn. And I have friends, who lived in the city, and I remember going to visit them during the summer. He's like, oh, we have to go to the farm market, and we walked around the farm market and we went to a vendor booth. Now, I knew from the name on the vendor booth that it was one of our local farmers in Dutchess County. So he's like trying to pick out the freshest corn. What time did you pick that corn? What time did you pick this corn? And I'm laughing because I'm like, I know that I could just walk up to the farmer in Wappingers and be like, okay, I know you just picked it because I saw you pull in with the tractor.
Right.
And so we're so fortunate to have access to all these incredibly fresh, beautiful produce locally. And really that's what the American Heart Association is recommending through its Healthy for Good campaign, which is kind of the new overarching campaign where Heart Walk is part of it. And that's really to get Americans on track with their diet, because we're not eating enough fruits and vegetables. You have to think, like, what's your fruit and veggie strategy as a family? How many times a day are you eating fruits and vegetables? Because, again, Americans aren't getting that requirement. So, where can you add in fruits and vegetables per day?
Right.
To every meal, basically. And start squeezing out the unhealthy stuff or the high calorie stuff like fats or low fiber grains, like carbs especially, because those are high in calories.
I love carbs.
Oh, I'm a carb-driven person. But I'm starting to choose smarter.
That's what I have to do. I have to tell you, and I make my own bread, and then and I know I can change some of. I can. It's better than not. I'm not talking the artisan bakeries.
Sure.
But I'm talking like grabbing something in the plastic that's on the shelf.
Yes.
I mean, so I have gotten a little better, but at the same time, I'm like, put the bread down, Beth.
Yes.
Just please put the bread down.
Right. And if you talk, I wish maybe next time we'll get actually a nutritionist with us, and we'll speak. The two of us would be great because I'd love to have their expertise. But a lot of the times what they'll tell you is to not start your day with that a carb or refined carb, is start your day with like a protein and fruit, and to start your day off with a low fat thing. And even yogurt, with fruit is a great thing to have. Or even the low fat, low sugar protein bars is great because it it levels out your blood sugar for the day, so, and reducing the amount of caffeine you take as well. So it just keeps you more even throughout the day. Then you don't have these kind of surges of energy and hunger. Then you crash and burn like 3 o'clock. Like, have you ever wondered why there's a long line at the coffee shop at 3 o'clock? It's because all the caffeine addicts who had coffee at 8 have run out of caffeine exactly at the same time.
Or you walk around the building here, it's really, really quiet.
Right. At like 2:33.
Yeah,
and they're like, I need coffee.
That's it. Because in the morning you get in here and everyone's like still pumped and the morning shows and everybody's really going and like, right. And there's this whole thing. And then at 2:30, you can imagine just walking by and people's heads kind of slumped over their desks.
Down and out.
Yeah, that's
down
it.
For the count.
Okay.
And that's why, and that, a nutritionist will tell you that to, kind of back off on the coffee. And I have actually, my own self started getting half decaf. Like if I get coffee out, I just ask for half decaf. And try to get milk or something, and just a little bit of sweetener, and that's enough. But if you're drinking coffee because you just like all the extra stuff in there, just stop for a minute and read the calories on that.
That's kind of.
And you're drinking your calories.
Drink those, but holy smokes! Like
I know someone, she just got one of those, coffee shop, frappuccino-y things or whatever, the iced coffee thing. And I said, what's that stuff? It was a clear cup. I said, what's that stuff on the bottom of the cup? And she said, well, I got an extra shot of caramel or caramel. It was literally like more than half an inch of caramel sauce. And I thought, that's pure sugar. And it was probably on a measuring cup, probably a quarter cup of. And I thought, what does that do to your blood sugar?
What are these places doing to us?
Right. And, when you think about calories, and that's one of the things we also advocated for at the American Heart Association is mandatory labeling for menus, especially, for the larger chain stores, because you don't know what you're getting and in terms of sodium, sugar content, and calories. And that they've found scientifically, which is why we advocated for, that if you see the calories, you'll make a smarter choice. So if you see that the calories are 1,000 calories for one serving, and that's half your calories for the day, you might not get that. You might get a salad. You might choose the grilled, not the fried. And, you might choose low-fat milk instead of a glass of soda. So that's why we advocate for those kinds of laws. People think we're just being uptight, but really it's for reasons for health, and
I remember going to, I think it was Chef Ann Burrell. She gave a talk. And she talked about how people, like in their kitchens, are almost afraid to season things with salt. And she's like, there is no way you can reach the amount of sodium that they put in processed foods. You're not, because it would be coated. Like it would, you're fine.
It would be inedible, right?
Right. Like she'd go, you can still season it, and you are still cutting way down on the amount of sodium that's in other things.
Right. And you'll notice that as you cut back on sodium, if you try and do it at home, especially, and get away from the processed foods, that when you go out and you have a restaurant meal, it hurts your tongue. Like that's how much. So I remember going to a restaurant locally, and it was a chain, and it was broccoli. I got broccoli and mashed potatoes, and I thought that was healthy with a grilled piece of chicken. There was so much salt on the chicken, then the sugar in the sauce. The potatoes were inedible, the broccoli inedible. That's how much salt. And I had to send it back. I was like, "There's so much salt in here, I can't eat it. Like you have to take it back." Yep. And they gave me unseasoned broccoli. And the potatoes, they just gave me a baked potato. But I was just like, you don't have to,
You don't need to pound us that much.
And people can add. You can always add, but you can't take it out once you've prepped it. Exactly.
Yes.
My grandpa used to say that all the time. You could always put it in, but you can't take it out. But it's, like I said, we're so fortunate to have all the farm markets. You just walk right up and get this incredibly fresh produce. And not only is it just fresh so it tastes good, but more of the nutrients are in there. So it's actually going to help you fight the cancers and regulate your health measures and stuff with the correct vitamins.
Looks pretty.
Yes, and we want to have a variety.
Pretty.
Yes, it's called we call it eat color. So eat more color, and just add more color on your plate. And it doesn't matter. Like you could pretty much go into the produce section of the farm market. Obviously not the baked goods section all the time. No. Maybe just for special treats on the weekend or something. But just to eat a variety of that on your plate. Most of your plate should be fruits and vegetables, high fiber. Carbs like a whole wheat pasta, brown rice is terrific. A lot of these beautiful new grains are having tabbouleh and quinoa and all these things, and try them. Try them in a little box of it, see if you like it, and then you can buy the bigger box. Or salad bars are a great place to try out these new grains. So if you don't want to buy it, you can just go to the salad bar, taste it prepped, and then see if you like that, and then find a recipe for it.
I like that.
And like all the salad bars usually have something new and fun. But add nuts. You can add nuts to a salad. That's got some protein source in there, or nice piece of grilled fish, grilled chicken, even you can, steak, or beef. You could have low fat versions of it and grill it instead of just having a giant slab of beef on your plate. Slice it thin and just have 4 slices of steak, and it's a cost savings as well if you're trying to feed a family.
Yeah.
Instead of everybody having an 8-ounce portion of steak, you cook a pound of it and you slice it into 4, like London broil slices, and you saved a lot in terms of cholesterol, saturated fat, and calories, but also the cost savings. So fish, chicken, lean meats, nuts, of course, tofu, is a great source as well, unlimited amounts, and but all the fruits and vegetables are beautiful. And as we come up on the autumn, we're going to get all the squashes coming in.
Yep.
Those make great soups. You roast those so easy. And, the supermarkets, they get it now. They're like, all right, if we just chop up this butternut squash, they're going to buy it.
because that's the pain.
It's a time could suck. Right? You got to I got to peel the cut. You got to cut it up. It's so hard to cut. And they've done the work for you. You just take it and you put it in the oven with some olive oil, salt, and pepper. Boom. And
I have to say, I got
half an hour later, you got beautiful squash.
Last fall, I got the Instant Pot, which is growing in popularity.
Yes.
And I think I got it right because I had never seen it before, and I thought, well, I'll try it. And I put a butternut squash in it, didn't peel it,
just whole thing.
Put the whole thing in, put a cup of water in the bottom. You put it in a little tray. I don't know. I think it was maybe 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. It's done, right? And then it comes out, and you can just take the skin and just obviously once it's cool.
Sure.
But you take a paper towel and it's gone.
Just rub the skin off. And you have this beautiful squash.
And it's off, and you can get the seeds out. The pressure cooker it's an electric, and it's amazing. It's amazing what it can do. It makes it very easy to do the brown rice. It makes it very easy to do, the chicken. You're not using any fats.
And it's amazing. Great for families, especially you're working full time.
And I get home and I'm like, okay, boom, 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 in.
Yes.
Seal it, close it. Then I can take care of everything else.
Right.
It is amazing. But I will say that with the squash, because I thought, all right, here's the test. Because I like the butternut squash soup, and I like to put butternut squash in macaroni and cheese.
Yes.
And I thought, okay, we're going to see if this sucker really does.
Right.
And it did.
Yes. And a lot of squashes too, you can you can have them, hollow them out, and you can stuff it with things like brown rice, cranberry, nuts. It's a beautiful fall prep. A little olive oil, salt, and pepper. You don't have to put butter in there. You don't have to be crazy.
Right.
And it really is so filling because it's got fiber in there, so it's gonna stay with you longer than sweetens things. And it's better than running to the fast food place and getting all that saturated fat. When you look at the calories and fat, and especially with families with young children, you're getting them on a bad habit track. When you start you're like, well, I'm in a hurry, therefore I have to eat fast food. You don't really have to. If you do your work on the weekends and prep a rotisserie chicken, or even buy a rotisserie chicken, they're sometimes the same price as a raw whole chicken, and they've done the cooking for you. Just watch the sodium on those if you can get a low sodium kind, obviously. But you can roast it on a Sunday too. Just throw 2 in the oven. You eat one Sunday, and then the rest of the week you just use it for fajitas on whole wheat wrappers or wraps, or you put it on your salad. These are such great, tricks that you can do, and to prep your veggies on the weekend as well, especially the hard ones like peppers, celery, those things you can chop up. They stay for a long time. Carrots. Put them in little Ziploc bags, line them up in the fridge in a little bucket, and then every day you come out for lunch, you're packing, you grab out your stuff.
And there you go.
And off you go, especially for kids' lunch prep. The mornings are so hectic trying to get the kids. Where's my shoe? I need my soccer socks. Where's my knee pad? Every parent's going through this. We're all the same.
Our little guy is starting kindergarten, which okay, we can't. I'll cry.
Yes, okay.
Let's just...
Beautiful.
Yeah, but I think those tips are going to come in handy.
And if you just... It's hard because you're tired on a Sunday night, right? But just sit down and give yourself an hour and be prep for the week, and just get that stuff ready. And then you don't have to rely on, oh no, I forgot to pack lunch. Oh no, I forgot. Get the fruits ahead of time. When you get a giant bag of grapes, cut them up into little sections, pre-rinse them, put them in the little sandwich bags, and then, or snack bags, I call them even, and put them in there. You can get, if you want to give a crunchy snack, there's celery, carrots. You don't have to put chips in there.
Right.
Give water to kids, or sugar-free juice boxes, or low-fat milk at school is a great choice for kids, especially growing. They need the calcium and the vitamin D. So those are great ideas. And also, if if they're having sandwiches, to use low-sodium meats or home cooked meats like a chicken slice, and then also high fiber and high whole grain breads and rolls are great. Low-fat, reduced fat cheese. And then fruit, get kids used to eating fruit for snacks. Like, it doesn't have to be a candy bar or chocolate or a cake or cookie. Like, fruit is a suitable snack. Blueberries, beautiful, right? It's one of the best fruits.
Our two little grandsons, they eat fruit. You put fruit out, and they are there.
That's beautiful.
They will grab them before anything else.
Right.
Raspberries and blueberries, and if you slice up bananas. I peel the apples for the little one because he tends to fill his cheeks up like little chipmunks. And I'm like, you should probably swallow some of that before you put any more in. But they do, like pineapple.
Oh, yeah.
Peaches, pears. And I have to say, I think that the preschool, they did an amazing job because there's always a fruit and there is always a vegetable with their lunch at the preschool that they have been attending. Because I was shocked when they wanted pineapple, and I'm like,
where did you have pineapple?
I never gave them pineapple, and I'm thinking, well, maybe their mom gave them pineapple, and no, here it was from school, and they tried it because everybody else was eating it, so therefore there was no like, ew, I don't know, everybody else ate it, and they did too,
exactly, and
so that was amazing.
Yes, the school nutrition programs have come a long way, and again, we advocated for healthier school lunches. Michelle Obama did an incredible job, a heavy lift with getting better foods for schools for kids to help prevent what we talked about before. It was children's obesity of 30% of kids. So, there was a lot of resistance, and it was tough for the kids, especially because if they weren't used to it at home, when they got to school, they were like, why are they feeding me this stuff? Right. I was like, because it's good for you. But it tastes good, too. I mean, they just have to get used to it. And with parents, to know that when you introduce a new food to a child, it sometimes takes up to 10 times of introducing it before they like it. So don't give up in the first, 8 tries. You still have 2 tries left.
I like that.
Keep going. Okay. Just keep going. Just stay with it. And remember, you're in charge. I always think that. When I tell
you were the one in charge.
You're in charge. You're in charge of the buying, right? You're in charge of the cooking, the serving, and the prep. And when you have young kids, it's a great time to get them in the kitchen and learning about healthy meals and healthy planning and why they should be eating salad and all the different things they can put in a salad. Like, that's great. It doesn't involve knives. They could rip the lettuce up. Right. They could put their favorite toppings in the salad and pick their favorite dressing, or learn to make dressing in a jar with oil and vinegar, just so simple. Or yogurt in there, and it's little herbs. That's fun for them. It's like a little science experiment. Right. So to get them in the kitchen early and try different things. But it's there's so many choices when you think about the produce section of a supermarket. Everything in there is up for grabs. Right. So
it's colorful. I think it's one of the most colorful aisles in the
store.
I love
that's my favorite aisle. And if you go shopping with a dietitian, they'll tell you that's the aisle you should be spending time in, and not the processed food aisle, not the can aisle. Some of the frozen section is good because you can get fresh vegetables, especially off season. You can get frozen fruits and vegetables because they freeze them on site at the picking. So it's actually
better than canned.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's better than produce that's been shipped across countries or across from other states. So, but right now we're in farmers market mode. Get there and get your fresh stuff, and it's cheap.
You can also, what I do is I'll blanch it and then put it in little freezer zippy bags and mark it, and then I have it in my own freezer.
When blueberries go to $1.99 a pint, I just buy 5 pints, and you rinse them. You put them on a sheet tray. You stick the sheet tray in the freezer, and then when they're frozen, you just put them in a Ziploc freezer bag, and you put them in the freezer, and now you have incredibly fresh blueberries. That don't cost you $5 a pint.
And you know where they came from.
Exactly. Yep. So really, you have control over your health is what we're, trying to get across, is that everything, your steps and what you eat on your fork, you have control over, and that's going to really go a long way towards prevention of heart disease and stroke. So that's, the bulk of it, and the rest is of course knowing your numbers and your family history, right? Getting your blood pressure checked once a year. Getting your cholesterol checked, going for your wellness visit. I know people put that off, but that's the easy one. Go for your wellness checkup, because that's where we're going to find if the number's out of whack, and you can get ahead of it. Because what you don't want to do is end up in the emergency room because you didn't know your blood pressure was through the roof for 2 years, and now you're having stroke symptoms. You want to get ahead of that because it's a very easy fix, right? They have medicine. You could lose weight, right? You could go on a pill. So you could reduce sodium in your diet. You could exercise more. So there's so many things that are prevention, geared, that you don't want to end up in the emergency room. Right. You don't want to have surgery. You do not want to have a stroke. These things are debilitating, permanent. They will change the course of your life. Right. So if you choose between having an apple or sitting down and having potato chips every day for a snack, just think about the outcome of that long term, and hopefully you choose the apple, right?
Right. So, I like that. Know your numbers.
Yeah, it's important. And your family history, because, a cardiologist would tell you that if you have a family history of heart disease or stroke, that you should get yourself to the doctor 10 years before your closest family member who had that heart attack or stroke had theirs. So if they had their first heart attack at 49, you should go be seeing a doctor at 39, because you want to get ahead of that time frame of where it's becoming critical, where they can't fix it with a pill. Now they can only fix it with surgery or interventional stuff. So go get it checked out. It's really bring a friend if you're a little afraid or whatever. Grab a friend. Make a day out of it. Go have a healthy lunch after.
It's better to know, because my husband recently had things. Now, he survived leukemia. So he had chemotherapy. He had full body radiation. And your body pays the price.
Yes.
I mean, it saved your life, but you pay a price for that. You absolutely do it. You do it again. Of course you would.
Right.
But that's the biggest thing when you said you have to educate yourself and you have to know your numbers, is knowing that, and then knowing the tests that you need to go get screened for. And then he also has a family history. So things really came to a head about 3 weeks ago where we went, okay, this is the end of the pool that we're in.
Yep.
This is what we're dealing with.
Right.
Okay, now we know. We got the whole picture.
Right.
Because you kind of you knew bits and pieces, but you didn't know the whole thing.
Right.
So it was I scared? Yes.
Right.
Have I been stressed? Absolutely. But I have to say that my imagination will make anything worse than just knowing.
Once you know.
Just tell me. Yes. Then I'm like, oh.
Then you have a plan.
Right, exactly. Because my imagination will fill it in, man. It'll fill it in the worst possible.
You're not alone. That's why those online health sites get such hits, because people are like, what does that mean? Yeah. But it's important to know, because then you could understand it, you get knowledge, and then you create a plan with your doctor, healthcare professional, to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Because like I said, you don't want to end up in the emergency room. You want to avoid that. You don't want to go there.
No.
I've been there too much with my family. We have smokers in the family. Every thing that they had that you see on those commercials that said smoking causes, we literally had every one of them in our families. So I've been to the emergency room so much. You do not. It's so stressful and horrible, and it literally does turn the path of your family life in a direction that you did not anticipate. And that's another one, is like another choosing thing, right? You can a healthy lifestyle choice. Don't smoke. Smoking is literally something you choose to do.
Right.
And you have to look long term on that and see where it's going to take you, because it doesn't just take you down, it takes your family down. It really impacts your children, your partner, your spouse, your family members who have to care for you when you're sick, or your employer who now has to wait for you if you've had open heart surgery and you're out for 3 to 6 months, because you chose this one lifestyle thing which has no benefit to your health at all. It's an addiction. Right. So, that's why also we advocate for tougher smoking laws. We're trying to pass Tobacco 21 in New York State.
Which there's been more counties that have gone.
Yes, county by county. We're trying to get statewide so that, you don't have county hopping. And so we put that right back on the agenda this year for this fiscal year coming up. So we hope, we get widespread support in Dutchess County as well as the surrounding counties. Across the river, they've gone ahead, and Rockland, Sullivan, so Orange County. So we want to catch up on this side of the river and go statewide, because that'll make it so much better. And a lot of states around the country have gone there too. So
I'm looking at the time. Yeah. You're going to have to come back again, because we have a minute and a half left.
All right. Well, then I just want to say, anybody for resources about healthier living, to go on www.heart.org and learn all about just prevention, because like I said, we want to get ahead of that and stay on track. And, every little change will add up to a big change in the future. And you don't, if you have to lose 50 pounds, you don't think about, I have to lose 50 pounds. Think about, I'm going to try and lose 2 pounds this week. How am I going to do that? Start a plan. Once you adopt that one lifestyle change, then add another one. And don't be afraid to ask for help. A lot of health insurances cover things with consultants, with dietitians, and these kinds of things. And
that's
ask for help.
That's a good idea.
Ask for help. Look up resources on heart.org if you don't have coverage. And, just advocate for yourself, because your health and your heart and your brain health is the most important thing going on in your life. It has to be, because without it, you can't do anything else.
Right.
So remember to put that first.
Right. I agree. Carolyn, thank you very, very much for being here. Now, whatever station you're listening to this morning, head to the website and just in the keyword search "In Touch," because we will have this interview up. and we'll have an article with it with links to, and Carolyn and I will figure out where she wants the links and where we're going to get people to. But thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks for you guys for being here. Hopefully there's something that you've learned today that you can take away from and improve your life, improve your family's life. If you'd like to be on the show to talk about what you're doing in the Hudson Valley, if you're a business helping a nonprofit organization, here's how you can get a hold of me. You can call 845-471-1500. My extension is 159. You can email me, beth.christie@townsquaremedia.com. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Pinterest. You can find me on Twitter. I am there, but find me because we'd love to have you on the show to talk about what is important to you. Take care of yourself and those you love, and we'll see you right here next week.